Hey everyone, this is Randy. Welcome to this edition of E3 Minutes for Life. I am standing here on Commercial Street in downtown Trinidad, Colorado. You can likely see the peak behind me, a little bit of snow on the top. It's early December when I'm shooting this, or actually mid-December. And not a ton of snow yet, but they got a little bit of snow a few weeks ago. Not necessarily the typical topography you would think of in Colorado. Most of us think of huge mountains all around, and there's one peak there and one peak across the way here. But what I wanted you to see is this old street. Trinidad is a really old town. I think it was founded in 1862. It really is pretty. It's not, I've not been to many towns that are exactly like this. There's a lot to this, a lot of character to it. The architecture here is great. I love the old buildings, especially the government buildings, the public library, the courthouse, police station, or the old big granite buildings that look very majestic. I'm looking at a creek right here in front of me and a bridge that goes across it, and you can see by the amount of cars going behind me how busy it is. But what I want you to get is, this is a really old town with some cool old buildings. Some of them are boarded up, some of them are still in business. Some of them have been modernized, some of them still look like they're 40 years out of date. And what I want you to get on this edition of E3 Minutes is, just because we've been here longer doesn't mean we got better. Just because we've outlasted the competition doesn't mean we're still growing. Now, obviously we did something right or we wouldn't still be here. But what about people within our organization? Longevity doesn't necessarily mean loyalty. And longevity doesn't necessarily mean that the person who's been there the longest is working the hardest or knows the most or tries their best. But we've got to really grow with our career, grow with our marketplace, grow with our industry or our town or whatever it may be, and not become obsolete, not become irrelevant, not become like some of the boarded up buildings behind me, but maybe they become something totally different than what they were built to be in the very beginning. You know, it's really funny. I've seen in some of these old buildings, there's a lot of cannabis dispensaries here. Needless to say, in Colorado, that's perfectly legal. I've been surprised by how many are here, and they told me that that's one of the most common businesses in this town. But then what about the banks that have been here forever? What about a church that's been here forever? You know, when you look at how you are producing, how you're performing, how you're working in your job, as we go into this new part of the year, I really want to challenge you to think about, what could you do in 2025 to make yourself more valuable, to make yourself a greater contributor, to make your team better, to be a better resource for your customers, to be a better partner for your vendors. Because as we grow and as we age and as we mature, in theory, we should become better and better at what we do and not just longer and longer where we are. I hope in some way this has been encouraging to you and that you have a great new year. We'll look forward to seeing you many, many times in 2025, but for this edition of E3 Minutes for Life, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.